Hi everyone, Sailor Moon Serena here, Sailor Mini Moon or Small Moon Little Moon Rini here, and today we're going to talk about why do we fight all the time? Well, more like riles, because someone's going to say that a fight has to do with putting your hands on someone, but there can be a thing called a fight of words. Now, most of the fighting started in Sailor Moon R would have to be where Rini was always being irksome, wanting the Kaiserreich silver hearse, which somehow she knew I had, but didn't know where it was at. And then she would do something, and then I would get irked and angered, and then she would make me look like the bad one, which I am sorry for, you know. And you would also think that her wanting to be around Darien when I was with Darien also was something that we riled or fought about. I mean, yes, I get it. I'm her mother, he's her father from the upcoming. But in the past, we weren't her bearers yet. So a lot of that happened under that too. Yeah, and sometimes I would say things that would irk her and make her mad. And then first it was all the Kaiserdom Silverhurst, the Kaiserreich Silverhurst. And it was spending time with Darien. Then it was not trusting her due to learning that you were Sailor Moon and you had flaws. Yeah, and that mostly seemed to be all the fighting that we did in Sailor Moon R. It was more of bullying because that's what I tended to do, you know. And I'm also sorry for the spells, the brainwashing, whatever you want to call it, to make your kin think that I was kin, and to make them take my side every time we had a fight or a rile. Well, first off, I don't know. I forgive you for the spelling and brainwashing, but as far as them, taking your side all the time, you didn't really have play with that. And keep in mind, they only saw what they saw, Rini. They didn't hear the whole thing about, like, you know what? Like, they didn't see you come in when I was in the bathtub and bullshit. They only heard it. They didn't see you be in my room, and say you wanted a folklore silver hearse. They just heard you say whatever you said after the thought when they came in. you know? So, yeah, what were they going to do? Well, our fighting also kind of prolonged a little into Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon SS, but it was more of me thinking that couldn't understand how my mother, young Queen Serenity in the upcoming, could be, could be a sob baby and a ditz and a klutz in the past. So that wasn't my forgiveness for, bullying you or anything like that. There wasn't a good forgiveness for it. Well, Rini, you didn't know. And when you knew, you shouldn't have done it to me. And keep in mind, yes, I am young Queen Serenity of young of New Earth, New Heaven, and those flaws, or we call them self, crap, whatever, they're still there. I didn't lose them, I may have learned not to sob over a lot of things. I may have not been a ditz or a klutz as much as I was, but I still have those things. They didn't go away in the upcoming. No, I guess they did not, you know. And yeah, I would get angry. You always wanting to hang out around Darien, tuxedo mask, evening wear hide, evening clothes hide, whatever. I shouldn't have done that. I mean, I knew that I didn't know at the time, but now I know now that we were your mother and father, and I should have not behaved the way I behaved back then. Well, I'm sorry for the way I behaved too. And a lot of folks gave the way that I behaved, you know, in the Deke Sailor Moon, which they didn't really do that much skimming. Everyone seems to think that the bullying or the gaslighting or the wind lighting, guilting someone else for something that someone said or did, they want to think that was something that Deke put in. No, that was something that Toei had, something that Deke and Disney kind of didn't skim all much. They may have shifted what was said, but it was still there. And Viz, well, a lot of things I said and did in that world, well, that wasn't even me. That was some girl named Chibaluza, which isn't me at all. Maybe my twin, my double digger, my look-alike from that world. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that, Sailor Mini Moon or Small Moon, Little Moon. You're right about that, Rini. Everyone keeps thinking, oh, you're Usagi. I'm not. I'm Serena. I lived in a Deke world. That's my name. I don't know who this Usagi is, all right? But anyway, yeah. A lot of folks, tend to scathe the bullying in that and think it was something that, and scathe Deke for making Rini behave that way, but she already was behaving that way, so it wasn't something they put in, Yeah, but then the way I behaved after Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon SS, they say, oh, well, now you more behave like that offshoot of yourself from the Viz world. Yeah, maybe I did. But here's one thing that I still am irked over and I'm never ever going to get over is that why is it that you got both a Irwin and Bandai doll and I'm just stuck with the Bandai doll? Rini, most likely you are Irwin doll, but an early one. If you're looking at back of your neck, it's going to say 20-0, made by Irwin then. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right about that.